YouTube, how we doing? Pass the Prop is back. We're back here for Thanksgiving slate. Now we're already on to week 12 already. Crazy season is flying by, and we're back and get 3 games today to talk about besides just the one that we usually get. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's good, man?
Yeah, nothing much. I mean, like you said, we get this nice little Thanksgiving slate. I know this is going to be one of the most popular football slates of the year because, hey, everyone's going to be hanging out with their family, doing all the Thanksgiving holiday stuff. But at the end of the day, only thing that can really make that better is winning a little bit of money while you're doing it, right? You don't have to be watching too close, or you can be watching all game. It doesn't matter. What we do, we got you some picks for the weekend. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a good one. I love the Thanksgiving slate. We got some solid games this weekend, and hey, hopefully we got some winners for you.
Yeah, both of our teams in action on Thanksgiving, which is obviously always fun to watch. Both of them are pretty heavy dogs as well, so we'll be rooting pretty hard in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I mean, I'm coming off Washington's had a little bit more Thanksgiving success than they've had regular success over the last couple of years. So I'm not sure that's going to continue here. Obviously, the spread kind of indicates that. But hey, who knows? The Giants upset them last week as 9-point dogs. So maybe the Commanders can flip the script for some Thanksgiving magic this weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's just get right into it. Might as well just go right into the chat. Actually, let's do our recap. Split on these. I don't know how your Hurts one came through, bro. That one looked like dead in the water, and then boom, like three straight drives with designed rush attempts. So
Yeah. Yeah, did you hear my what in the first, like, they didn't have like a third down conversion successful until like the third quarter or something like that. And like we kind of talked on the show, the tush push is like that third and fourth down play that you get so much. So once they finally converted that third down in like the third, they were rolling from there. But yeah, little good for Hurts for getting the comeback there, because you're right, it did get a little scary. For a second I was starting to think that we were gonna have to depend on the kneel downs again, but he got the job done.
yeah, no, it was a good game. I really don't know what happened on the Chiefs' offensive side. I really wasn't. I don't really was not surprised by the drop by MVS. Everybody else was like, "Oh, this." I'm like, bro, this has been happening for 4 years, bro. Like, this isn't like new, like at all. Like, this was all he did in Green Bay, bro. I literally said it. He goes over there, nothing. I mean, you could put the ball in his hands; it doesn't matter. He can't catch. He never could, and I was probably the least surprised of anybody there. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, should have been a touchdown." I'm like, dude, I'm not. I'm not. Those receivers are so ass.
Yeah, I immediately texted PPS. You were the first person I thought of, because we've been talking about MVS dropping passes on the show since the day it started. And obviously, we know he runs straight, he gets wide open. It's just like a 40% or it's a 40-60% chance that he actually catches the ball after that. So rough ending to that one for all the Chiefs bettors out there, obviously.
Yeah, luckily, again, we don't really take sides in this game, but yeah, I wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't as that first half was just so weird for both offenses. Like, I almost just didn't know what to even say about it. You know, like it was just such a slow, methodical game to start. And I'm like, it pretty much killed my prop right away because they just couldn't move the ball. Either team outside of one drive.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a frustrating one, but at the end of the day, still a close game. Still got some good action. At least it wasn't a blowout. You know, some of these games have been absolutely awful. So look forward to these two teams rematching, possibly in the Super Bowl. It'll be another good one.
Yeah, and the finds a way to stay under the total as well, even with all that late games magic there. Everybody, all the under betters cash in, even though it was so trappy for the over, man. They're just asking you to bet the over. Sportsbooks probably just absolutely nuked the public on that one. So always find a way to make those money games in prime time, and the books continue to smash that one.
Yeah, no, that was the ultimate, like, please bet the over line, right? I mean, each Super Bowl rematch at like 45, you know what I mean? Like, no matter how much light rain there is, they were begging people to take the over. And as someone that has done that in the past, I was absolutely not taking that bait. I've seen those under records. It's insane this year. You don't want to mess with karma, especially when the book is telling you to bet the over. Clear sign to just sit back and enjoy.
Do you last thing on that game? Do you think that both those teams are the one seeds in their respective divisions and the conferences?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I think the Eagles accomplished that easier for the rest of the season, but I think the Chiefs should as well. So, yeah, I definitely think so.
Do you think so? The only reason I ask that is because that Eagles schedule is fucking brutal, absolutely brutal down the stretch. So I was just curious if you had a thought on those, just because that's like the first one of this gauntlet now, right? The
Yeah,
Cowboys gauntlet. You have a couple other ones that are
Bills.
pretty big.
Yeah, I remember Cowboys and Bills in the next couple of weeks. I don't know who else is after that, but yeah, tough schedule. But hey, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the Eagles I don't think they're going to have too much of a problem coasting through the rest of the season. They've already established themselves in a great spot for the playoffs. So for me, it's kind of hard to see someone catching them, especially like the Lions aren't even like some of these other teams around them aren't even playing or even just in the whole league right now, right? I mean the Eagles are trending up. So
Yeah, so they got obviously the at Kansas City spot, Buffalo, then San Francisco, then at Dallas. So those are the ones right there. So, like I said, I want to, even though, like I said, they did win in there. Like I said, I just want to see a little bit more consistency on the road. That's all I'm asking for. So I'm curious for that Dallas game at Dallas, what they're going to give me for the line on that, because I'm curious if it's going to be like a 3 being at Dallas. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what side I take in that one. It'd be a fun one to pay attention to.
yeah, definitely. That's a calendar game right there. Obviously, we know the Cowboys are playing well. They want to get back, but hey, the Eagles still are the better team between the two. And I agree. The Eagles look so bad in that first game that if they just play like regular football, then they might crush Dak. So I don't know. Hopefully that's an over right there because Dak's been slinging the ball. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but definitely pumped for that rematch.
Yeah, so Stu, I know it's tough because we're both going to probably pick our own teams, which ones we want to watch. But is that we can just go through each game individually, I guess, because we can't really go plasma with the two spots
Yeah,
here. Let's go each one, and then we'll talk about our props. I think we have every game covered except for the last one. We have the first two, all of our bets in the first two games. So, first game on the docket is my Packers facing off against the Lions in Detroit. We're seeing a 7.5. They're hanging a 7.5 plus 110 there for my Packers. Obviously, brings back to the Lions at like minus 350, 46.5 total. What are you leaning towards in terms of the size here when we go at it?
Yeah, I like the Packers. I like the Packers in this one. I think they keep this game within a touchdown. When we did the opening line report on Sunday night, it was 6.5, so it hadn't even cleared that touchdown mark. And I was kind of surprised by that. I think this line definitely makes a lot more sense. Just because the Lions still are a very strong offensive team. That's the problem with covering by margin is a lot of teams are easy to fade because at the end of the day, you just don't trust them to score a lot of points. But like that's the one thing we do trust the Lions to do is they can score. It's just can the other teams keep up with them? The Packers have showed they can over these last couple weeks. I think they're a competitive team. I think they're legit. I don't know how I feel about Jordan Love still. I mean, he's had some pretty solid games, and then he's had some really bad games as well. So it's interesting where he's at in his development right now. That'll obviously be important, but he's arguably coming off one of his best games ever. Made some incredibly clutch throws in that one as well. So I definitely side with the Packers in here. I see this as a close, competitive game. Probably the Lions are up by like a touchdown the whole game, but like the Packers are within striking distance. So I definitely like them to cover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than the first one. Obviously, Montgomery got 32 carries in that first game. They got ahead and could just hold the ball, right? I mean, I'd have to check exactly what the time of possession in that game was, but whatever it was not close either side. So just looking at that, I mean, I'll look at it right now. Time of possession was 38 minutes to the Lions in that game. So obviously that'll switch things up for you on the offensive end. Packers still put up 20 in that game. But again, they just, can't start well, right? It's just a full-on fade of that first half Packers, and then they decide, we're going to start playing. So might be a live bet perspective, but I think I would lean the over there. I think it's 46.5. I know these primetime games have been going under, but I don't know how the Packers stop this Lions team at all, whether it be through the air or on the ground. Even though Goff looked like dog last game, those picks were terrible. They weren't even like contested picks; they were just right to the guy. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the Packers handle the pressure of the Lions front seven. Obviously, Bosa going out last week was huge, so I do lean with the over if I had to pick one of the four.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. I agree. I mean, obviously, we see a comment that the Chargers turn love into primetime Rodgers. They do have that effect on quarterbacks. It's important not to be too captured within that. But also, I mean, like you said, the Lions defense, besides that front line, besides the trenches, the secondary's been getting beat all season long. I mean, a guy like CJ Gardner-Johnson, when he went down earlier in the year, there's kind of a clear, dip after that as well. So definitely like the spot right here. And yeah, hopefully your Packers make this a good game, not just for us. You're talking about it, so we look good, but also for the world, right? Because no one wants to wake up to a freaking blowout.
Yeah, no, and the best thing about the Packers is they could be down 21 at half, and in the second half is a completely different game, right? So you just turn it on at halftime, and you might get a better opportunity of enjoying yourself than just suffering through that first half of Packers football. There. I guess we could just get into our props. I think we both have props involving this game. So I will let you take it away here, man, and we'll get it going.
I might have to kick it to you so I can go grab my charger real quick so my computer doesn't die. So give me 1 sec. You got it.
Sounds good. So I will start us off. Obviously, I have another bet in this game as well. Both my bets involve this game. Mine's going to be a FanDuel same game parlay. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 60 receiving yards. Montgomery, 50 rushing. Again, I talked about it. The Packers started off so slow, and we're in comeback mode. The Lions didn't even have to throw the ball, right? 32 carries for Montgomery in that first game. Gibbs obviously sprinkled in there. Amon-Ra hit this in every single game except for the Packer game, which is kind of funny. But still don't know if Jair is going to play. This pass rush hasn't been getting there. And I think that Amon-Ra is going to absolutely have a feast day here. Double-digit targets in 3 of his last 5 games. The 2 games that he didn't, he had 9 and still went over 100. Even last game, people will say it's a down game, right? He still had this number, crushed this number, 11 targets, 8 for 77 and a touchdown. This dude's an absolute wagon. I'm going to keep riding that St. Brown train here. 60 yards is just pretty much free at this point. This dude has just been that good this year. That is a minus 310 leg. The minus 260 leg to get us minus 115 is David Montgomery. 50 rushing yards is it's too big of a discount for me to get this number. I have no idea how the Packers are going to stop them. I understand last week they did well. I think that might be a little bit of a recency bias that the Packers' run defense is cleaned up, which I don't really think it is. The only guy I really think is doing anything on his own right now is Gary. He has been absolute beast, dude. He's been so good. But outside of that, Van Ness, all these other guys on the outside really haven't been doing too much. And that Lions front, right? Those 2 guards in the center just absolutely pushing dudes back, getting such good push off the line. They were barely touching this guy till 5 yards on the field in that first matchup. I expect the same thing to happen. I know you mentioned to me before the show 14.5 is his carries prop, and obviously he's gotten that in the first 4 games of the season, and his lowest number was 67 in those. So if we're getting 15 carries from this guy, I think that this is an absolute smash spot. And like I said to Stu before this, I don't know how I'm getting minus 115 on this. FanDuel just giving us a really nice price, so got to roll with it today.
Yeah, I love the combination of doing like 2 guys on highly concentrated offenses, right? Because when you look at the Lions, they're a great offense, but the ball is only going to a couple people, right? It's going to these 2 guys and Sam Laporta, right? Josh Reynolds is going to get 2 or 3 targets. But at the end of the day, this combination, right, gets you exposure to by far 2 of the highest usage players on the team at very good discount lines. Obviously, we've done Amon-Ra 60 yards 800,000 times. You know what I mean? That's probably our our most popular leg ever on the show. And he keeps getting the job done. You obviously nailed it right there. And then Monty, I love Monty as well. You mentioned it. Packers run defense has not been good so far this season. I still think his numbers are too low across the board. He cashed them all last week, rush yards, touchdown, all that stuff. I still think there's a little bit of value in running it back because, like you said, even if we don't get 32 carries right here, he's going to be highly involved against a team that the whole world knows that you attack the Packers on the ground. They have a pretty good secondary, pretty good scheme on the defensive side of the ball, but you can definitely attack them on the ground, and I expect David Montgomery to be a huge part of that.
Sounds good. And I just want to pull up my screen with the prop here, just because I know I didn't believe it myself when I got this number because I looked at DraftKings. It was like minus 180. So Amon-Ra 60, David Montgomery 50 is at minus 115. You're gonna have to probably grab this soon. I don't imagine that it's going to stay there very long. I don't know why it's there in the first place, but just a quick heads up, you got to grab it over there because 60 cents on that is pretty wild. Because dude, DraftKings same game parlay sucks, bro. In my opinion, at least for like same team, they're terrible. Like they just like take an extra 50 cents on it always, just because it's on the same team. And I'm like, dude, this sucks. So I tried it, and I'm like, all right, we're not going back to DK for a same game one.
Yeah, if you notice some of my plays, I'll do like a correlation across two different same game parlays kind of thing where you get the receiver in one and you get the quarterback in another, and then you get the quarterback from the other one and the wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that way you're still getting exposure to it, but the sports books aren't taxing you that extra, like you said, 50 or 60 cents on those correlated parlays. So I'm with you right there. It's annoying, but you got to find the clever ways around it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's been something from FanDuel that I would definitely you see it enough times that you just kind of almost like, oh, I know this is going to be worse than the other one. Same with like touchdown props on FanDuel. They're usually a little bit better prices over there. But I will kick it over to you. Talk about my guy, Jordan Love here. Let you take it away.
Yeah, Jordan Love over 19 and a half completions at the beginning of the year. This was a guy that I maybe only saw myself taking the longest completion, maybe the passing yards, kind of avoiding this market. But the Packers coaching staff a couple weeks ago did make a shift to talking about Love getting the ball out a little bit quicker. You know, we want to make quicker decisions right here. We don't want to be as reliant on the deep ball. And that's what they've been doing more recently. It's been a little smoother. The thing is, I expected this line to probably be around 21 or 22. And then I think the loss of Musgrave and Aaron Jones probably bumped it back down because this line did originally open at 20 and a half. And now we've seen it drop to 19 and a half pretty much across the board. I think one book still has 20, but I would have priced this still at around 20 or 21, even without those losses. We obviously know they did double dip in the rookie tight end department. So Musgrave isn't the only option they have right there. And the wide receiver core, we've talked about it a lot. It's very hard to pick, right? A Christian Watson who's been super involved in the red zone. Dobbs, who's looked more like the number one target. And then a guy like Reed, who we've talked about since the offseason, right? Is kind of the stud, the guy that's going to step up, the little rookie that nobody's talking about. And he's been getting the job done. Definitely someone that if he had props up right now, I'd probably be already betting. So I think there's a lot of good opportunity right here. The Lions are a great defense to target for this prop. What have we said about them all season long? Great pass funnel team, very strong rush defense, top 5 rush DVOA all season long. They've consistently held opposing backs under 60 rushing yards. And let's be honest, A.J. Dillon is a great matchup right here. This guy's going right up the middle. We know exactly what he's doing. You can beat the You can beat the Detroit rush defense a little bit better on the edges. You can't beat them up the middle. Like, that's the toughest spot of this defense. And that's exactly where A.J. Dillon's going. He's going right up the middle for 2 to 3 yards at a time. That's not a successful way to win games. This team's going to be put in a position where they're trailing most of the matchup, right? I mean, we've talked about multiple times. The Packers are the worst first half team in football, besides the Giants, who have, been putting out a barely cute quarterback out there, right? And now we've got a real team right here in the Packers who are right behind him. So that's always good for completions. That's always good for passing yards. You want to be trailing a little bit. You want to be forced in that pass heavy game script. I think they already will be without Aaron Jones from the beginning, but the game script is always very important. So I see Jordan Love, going to the 23, 24 completions mark today. Definitely think we're getting some value on this one. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, no, and obviously the Musgrave news is terrible. I think he just got out of the hospital yesterday, so don't expect him in there. Jaden Reed's got a questionable tag, not worried about that. I'm sure he'll play. And you kind of nailed it, dude. I really don't understand how they're going to give you this line. I think they're going to have to chuck it. There's nothing else they're going to do that to make this a competent football team. You're going to have to. I love it. I'm not happy it was Jones that got hurt, but they needed something to happen in that backfield, whether not even an injury, but just like something had to change so LaFleur would just stop running the fucking ball 70% of the time, because they would let it go and Love doesn't throw a pass for 6 minutes. And then it's like, dude, how do you expect him to be in a rhythm? Because you just keep continuing to do bubble screens, just all this stuff. I'm like, dude, this offensive line is holding up well enough in that Chargers game that they were able to get the ball down the field. That's my biggest issue. And I think you have to do it with that short passing game. I think Tucker Kraft is fine. He's shown his ability to catch the football, had a couple catches in the last game. So I think that it's definitely a good look there. And I'll be rolling with you there. I have another bet on Jordan Love, but he's comboed with somebody in another game. So I'll just wait till the next game breakdown for that one. So we both have one in there. And I guess we can head on to the Washington Commanders now. We got the Commanders, heavy dogs this week. I think they are the biggest dog on this slate in all these games, which is pretty widespread, right? 7 on the Cowboys, or 7 on the Niners, 7.5 on the Packers, and 12 for the Commanders. Now they're up to 12-point dogs, sitting at 49 for the total, Stu. Any thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost disappointed that you thought I was going to pick this as the game of the day or whatever. Like this is just depressing for me. I don't want to watch my team get murdered on prime time on Thanksgiving while I'm sitting there with my family, and you have to put on like a professional face. You can't be all mad and all that. Not that, I'm a little bit past the point of mad at the point, right? I'm not really getting super angry at these games. I'm just depressed. I'm just staring at the TV, and the soul just slowly leaves my body as I watch this disappointing football team put up a pathetic effort on the field. So, like, once again, as soon as we went down to the Giants, I realized I was going to lose my bets, but like I wasn't screaming. I'm just sitting there like, this is the worst football team ever. How the fuck are we losing to these guys? So if we just lost to those guys, I have no idea how we could possibly beat the Cowboys. So the one thing I'll say, I said on my show with AC on the opening line report is, Washington has been a little pesky in these spots where everyone hates them. They've been good on the bounce back against the spread so far, right? You look at the Eagles game earlier in the year, you look at the Patriots game. All these came over embarrassing losses as a heavy favorite, right? They had the Cardinals start to the season where they didn't cover for anyone. They've been terrible as a favorite, and they've been okay as a little bounce back team. They also did have some success, obviously, last year at Dallas. They beat them in prime time before with all those Antonio Gibson touchdowns on Thanksgiving. I don't know if Antonio Gibson is healthy today. So all that being said, I really have no faith in Washington. There are a couple like little, if you're not even looking at it from a team basis, just like a Thanksgiving, divisional game, I can see you, vaguely making an argument. But after watching that pathetic on the field performance last week, I mean, there's no desire whatsoever to bet anything Washington related in this game.
Yeah, 49 total, man. I don't know. That's pretty crazy. I do like Sam Howell, and not like I like him for fantasy points. The dude just chucks the ball around. How many sacks are Cowboys going to have in this game? Probably 8. Watching Sam Howell just hold the ball, throw the ball down there, dude. Maybe I go a more defensive way here because I don't know how they hold up. I do think I might find a way to put Antonio Gibson into some DFS lineups, because those questionable tags hold them out the week. Get them playing on that day. These guys going to be losing by about 60. So I don't even know. You don't have a third stringer, right, that you're really using, right? You're not really using Rodriguez or anything like that. So maybe Gibson's a spot I want to attack here. Obviously, no props out because he's not even saying he's in yet. But just a guy I like to take when they're heavy dogs like this.
Yeah, no, he'll give you that classic, 4 catches, chance at a touchdown, a couple rushes. And hey, he's been kind of crazy on an efficiency basis this year, right? When he does get those touches, he's been really good with them. So I don't hate that at all. It's like a DFS cheaper play.
All right, I'll throw this at you before I get into it. On FanDuel, because I'm just finding the one where they're closest related. Would you take Zach Charbonnet against See, against San Francisco, he's $500 more than Gibson. Would you roll with Charbonnet or you still roll with Gibson, seeing as you're going to probably be getting just dump off galore from Sam Howell here?
That's disgusting. Is Kenneth Walker officially out now? Is he?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's so much questionable tags up there.
I'd rather play Gibson. I mean, Charbonnet, the thing is, if he does get that full matchup, he's probably going to have a chance of more fantasy points, but I don't want to mess with that brutal San Francisco matchup whatsoever. I do see a path to Gibson being fantasy relevant because, like you said, the total is 49, and the Commanders fucking suck. So the sports books are clearly telling you that someone is dropping 30 points in this game. And when someone's dropping 30 points, the other team has got to do something. And Antonio Gibson, like you said, 9 sacks, offensive line being terrible. That to me profiles like 8 dump-off passes, which is honestly what I'd rather have than anybody going against that 49ers rush defense, let alone a rookie.
Yeah, dude, it's just a brutal matchup. You want to tackle him through the air, man. Please, Gino, please get better, buddy. Need you in the lineup, buddy. I need you to find your way into playing this week.
And I see the chat's looking like an all-star game up here. We got Alpha Dog Sports in here. We got Finesse the Books in here. A lot of great fellow cappers as well. Looks like we should get on here more at 10 o'clock in the morning. I guess that's when all the D-gens are awake. Who knows?
D-gen's got to get after it here early in the morning, for sure. But yeah, I got to get. Come on, Gino, get better, man. I don't want to see that Q tag no more. Let's lock in and drink your milk, man. Get healthy. But let's get into this one. We're into this game. These are the last 2 plays of the show here. Stu, I'll let you start off because it's just so reliable, huh?
Yeah, we're going longest completion props against my Commanders right here. We're going Dak Prescott to have a 38-yard pass or more, minus 115. I mean, the hardest part about this for me, am I going to do passing yards? Am I going to do longest completion? Do I do CD receiving yards? Because there are so many great options on this one with the Washington secondary that possesses Benjamin St-Juste, who's allowed the second most receiving yards in coverage this year. A guy like Forbes, who snap-wise is one of the worst corners in the league, has still allowed the second most rookie coverage yards in the league so far, despite barely playing, right? The guy's only played like 3-4 games because he keeps getting benched. Now we have no choice but to start him, obviously. We do have one good, semi-good cornerback out there, Kendall Fuller. He's doing his best, but he's a mid-tier 30-year-old cornerback, and he's not going to be able to stop a team that suddenly went from a 55% pass rate to a 67% pass rate. Finally, I mean, did it take 10 weeks of watching Tony Pollard run 2 yards at a time into a brick wall to be like, okay, let's just throw it? Because Dak has been awesome. I believe 4th in EPA per play on the season. I believe top 5 in completion percentage over expectation on the season. All of his advanced metrics say that Dak Prescott should probably be in the MVP conversation. I do think a lot of it comes from the fact that he's been surging over these last couple weeks since they decided to switch from a more neutral plan of attack to a more pass-heavy plan of attack. That's perfect for Washington. Like I said, that secondary could not stop a fly right now. It is brutal. I mean, it is extremely bad, right? We've obviously seen Danny DeVito go over this freaking number. 500 pounds, 4'2". He still crushed this 38-yard pass to Darius Slayton last week. I mean, we've seen every quarter. It's insane the consistency in which teams. The only guy that didn't go over this number was Mac Jones, right? He's the only quarterback to not have a top 10 quarterback fantasy week against Washington on the season. The only guy to not cash his longest completion number for us. But hey, he's not a starting quarterback anyway, so maybe I can axe that now that he's been benched. We'll have to wait and see what Bailey Zappi does against this defense. But it's a phenomenal matchup. There's I don't see how CeeDee Lamb doesn't have 200 yards at the end of this game. Like, I don't understand who's guarding him. I don't know if there's going to be triple coverage, quadruple coverage. The only reason I'm doing longest reception here is because we do know they have some other playmakers. No matter how ugly these names are on paper, we got a guy like Cooks who can win downfield. We got a guy like Gallup, who's been one of his favorite 50-50 balls. And then we got a guy like Turpin, who we know can make people miss and instantly bring one deep if he gets one of those bubble screens. We know a guy like Pollard can have one of these insane longest completions. We saw Kenneth Walker do that against Washington earlier in the year. So the reason I went longest reception is it keeps your options open. You can get there in a bunch of different ways. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is fade this Washington defense. I think this is a good way to do it right here.
Tough to argue. tough to argue, and I'm gonna just go right into mine. Obviously, you talked about CD there a little bit. I'm on Jordan Love 200. Obviously, we talked about Jordan Love at nausea already. Expect that ball down the field quite a bit. Got Tucker Kraft pretty much going to fill in right in for Musgrave. Musgrave's a little bit of better route runner, but Tucker Kraft's a big dude, man. He was good in college. He's gonna be a tough guy to bring down here. Not dude. Christian Watson barely plays. Jaden Reed's gonna be out there. For some reason, AJ Dillon's getting passes in the passing game, short passing game. So I think 200 is a very maintainable spot, right? We can definitely get there, attainable spot there. So I'm going to talk about CD here a little bit. This dude's just a wagon, man. I just don't know how you stay away from this guy here. You mentioned it, where he's going to move from outside to the slot. Who's going with him? Who are we going to see cover this dude? Like, I don't know. 28% target share this year. Dude got 74 catches already. Like, that is absurd, right? Usually we think of him as just a big play guy, right? He's getting everything. He's getting underneath. He's getting the opportunity for yards after the catch, which we've seen kind of tough for Washington, right? To get those guys down with the first guy. And if I'm having a one-on-one with CD there, any linebacker, any safety trying to tackle him in a one-on-one opportunity, I don't think he's going down on first contact. I know everybody's upset about that last game. Still had 9 targets, right? They just had the game in check already, right? One thing as well, they were on that little heater there, obviously losing to Philly in there, but they were 4-1 on that run before last week. This dude was over 100 in every single one of those games, over 117 in every one of those games. I think they're starting to understand, our best players are in the passing game, right? CD's our best dude offensively. How do we not find a way to get that ball to him? And, I like what you mentioned about Tony Pollard here. Washington has done it has done a little bit better in the run game. That's what they're better at, right? That front seven. Even with losing those guys, they found a way to stop the run. That's not been the issue. It's, why would we want to go into these big dudes if I can just chuck it down the field and have a guy wide open by 10 yards, right? So when you have a guy with a target share like CD, 74 catches already, bro, like this dude is on one. I'm going to be rolling with him again. Again, you mentioned it already. I don't know who is going to get in the way of CD unless you straight up double team him the entire time. And obviously, we might see some more Wisconsin Badger Jake Ferguson just cook over the middle then the entire game.
I almost mentioned Ferguson, but he's just like the one guy that I figured wouldn't get the longest completion because of those, over the middle yards. But yeah, you kind of nailed it right there. Definitely love this spot. I mean, I'll probably end up playing CD at 90 as well. I've been staring at it all week. I think I'm going to have to pull the trigger. So definitely like this combo. You guys obviously know I'm already on Jordan Love from earlier in the show. So definitely good to see us sync up right here. Even when we hadn't, discussed it or anything like that before, because clearly on the same page, seeing the same thing, and I couldn't agree more. I think these are great spots.
All right, so I know we don't have bets in this late game, but let's talk about it just a little bit, just to kind of give our 2 cents. San Francisco heading to Seattle. I think that's important. Obviously, I think this would be like a 10-point spread if it was in San Francisco. 7 points, 43, 43 over, minus 108. A little juice to the under there. San Francisco minus 112 as a touchdown favorite. Which one are you looking at, Stu? What spot? What side? We got the 4. What are we looking at?
Oh, this is a tough one for me. I'll say, since the health is up in the air and all that, I'm just going to go the Niners side of this. I think you can make a lot of good arguments for the Seahawks. In fact, I even have a little bit earlier in the week. And I mean, you can go both ways, but at the end of the day, a lot of my arguments for the Seahawks were based on them having their starters, right? And I mean, we need at least one. I don't think Walker's going to play at all. I think you can kick that out already. Is Geno going to play? We need that if you want to bet this. No one wants the Drew Lock experience. Maybe that can work against the Chargers or something like that. That's not going to freaking work in a divisional game against the 49ers. That's not going to work. Absolutely not. Full stop. So considering there's a chance that that's what's going to happen, I'm just going to have to back the Niners side. Like I said earlier in the week, I think it'll be interesting if Seattle actually has to pass, because I think that's how you kind of beat the 49ers. So Pete, let's finally do it, buddy. Let's stop, with the 40 rush attempts a game against the Niners. That's not a winning strategy right here. Let's throw the ball. I think that's their best chance of staying competitive. I'm not sure it happens. We'll have to see with the injury stuff, especially if Locke's playing. So I'm just going to play it a little safer and go with the Niners right here.
Yeah, dude, I hope Gino does come in there. I want to see him chuck that ball around. I don't think Charbonnet is going to be a guy that is a 20 carry a game guy anyway. I don't even know who they would bring off after him. DJ Dallas running into this defensive line. Jesus Christ. Like that, you're just asking for trouble. So you know how big of a fan I am of Geno Smith. I'm a stan, been for 2 years, so I'm staying on that island, but I just don't know. I need the Seattle secondary to hold up here, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to because their front seven is nice. We mentioned that. That's a tough run defense, and I understand San Francisco's got CMC, man. That's different, but I think it's got to be. I think this has a chance to go over if Geno plays, just by the sheer fact that I think you're going to see them chuck the ball a little bit more, right? We've seen Purdy super efficient. I understand it's a divisional game, but looking at this, like I think Seattle's run defense is significantly better than that pass defense. So I think that we could definitely see that there, even though McVay didn't see it that way because he's terrible, but that's a different story. I do like the Seattle run defense, man. I do. So I want to see what they do. I want to see Purdy chuck it around a little bit. I want to see him throw it more than 25 times in a game and see what happens. So could be that late night hammer there for those DFS guys.
And Seattle does have really good corners, but the problem is they play such a heavy zone defense where like the Niners are the kings of just finding those holes in the zone and punishing you with yak, right? I mean, whether it's a Kittle, whether it's an Ayuk, whether it's a Debo, whether it's a CMC, you shouldn't have four options that I can just rattle off like that can all absolutely demolish your zone. And that's annoying because that takes away how awesome some of these corners are, right? When you can find the creative ways to beat them over the middle, you kind of avoid them. I think that plays into why the 49ers have been so good against the Seahawks historically as well.
Yeah, and dude, shout out Ayuk, man. What a stud. Dude's been crazy this year. He's been just carrying my 14-team league just because I got him like 4th round, dude. Dude was falling in fantasy. I'm like, dude, this guy is awesome. I was not expecting this, but shout out Ayuk, official number 1 receiver for since week 2. Not even close, dude, with Debo there. It's just not even
0, baby. Yeah. Come on. I mean, I have 0% Debo in best ball, and I've been saying some crazy stuff about Ayuk this year. I called him better than CeeDee Lamb earlier in the year. It might have been a little stretch, so I'm not going to defend that right now. But the point is, I've been there all season. I'm glad other people are starting to finally see it. I'm going to keep Ayuk is like a number 1 wide receiver on a majority of other teams, and the fact that people overreact. Debo is the number 1 weapon in the postseason, but when you're playing best ball, you're playing in fantasy, you're playing for the regular season. Debo's not going to run 8 times a game in the regular season. There's no reason to see that. So the fact that people weren't treating Ayuk with the respect he deserved coming into the year was kind of crazy. I'm glad he's getting it now because clearly the number 1 wide receiver on that team all year. You didn't even need to see a snap. Debo's awesome production has come from his creative usage as this kind of wrecker in multiple positions. But as a pure wide receiver, Debo Samuel has a lot of flaws. He would be Brandon Ayuk if he could, right? No offense to him. He has a very unique skill set, but like he kind of said, wide receivers get paid, running backs don't. So I love this team. It'll be fun to watch, but I love Ayuk. I want to make sure he gets his credit on here while we're going.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I have a little bit of Ayuk, but I have absolutely zero of the other pass catchers. I have a little bit of Purdy, but how's your best ball teams doing right now? You in the green? You cash a little bit?
Yeah, I've saw him a couple. I haven't looked at him 2 weeks, honestly, but it was good enough where I wasn't in panic mode then. You know what I'm saying? You tank your line. As someone that has a lot of Jonathan Taylor, a lot of the lineups are kind of tanked, but beyond that, we're still competitive. I'll definitely have to check and get a little update soon. Maybe it'll be a depressing one. Maybe it'll be a happy one. Who knows?
Yeah, I have one that I wish was the Millie. I wish it was my Millie lineup because I went at 1,700, and it's just significantly just nuking everybody in that one. But it's only a $5 one. It wasn't even my big one there, so that one sucks. But a couple of them that I hopefully will make to round 2 of the Millie, and we'll see what happens. So, Stu, let's go through a quick recap here. Are you doing a long shot here or no?
I don't have a long shot
I
right
don't
now.
either.
I think we do the comments thing. We don't have enough lines right now. It's a little early right now. We don't have enough lines, but make sure if you're watching right now, check back in the comments section. I'll make a little post on Twitter whenever we do. We'll add some long shot stuff there as well because it's Thanksgiving, guys. Responsible gambling is something we preach on here. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to hit on anyone for putting together a couple parlays, leaving them on in the background. You want to have some fun. You want to enjoy the day. I'm gonna be doing that. I want to speak for PPS, so I'll be sharing those as well. Definitely just stay glued to the Twitter, to the comment section, all that stuff. We'll keep you updated.
Beautiful. Let's run through this recap quick.
Sounds good. We got Doc. Dak Prescott, longest reception over 37.5 yards, -115. And then we got our guy, Jordan Love, maybe franchise quarterback, maybe bum, up in the air, over 19.5 completions, -115.
Beautiful. I'll be on Jordan Love 200 with CD at 70 yards there on DraftKings, and I'll be over on FanDuel for this one. Amon-Ra 60 receiving yards, Montgomery 50 rushing yards at -115. Woo! Ready for some Thanksgiving, obviously. Probably got to be one of your favorites, right? Just sitting around watching games, eating food. It's got to be one of the best.
Yeah, I completely agree. I keep making this argument to people. You don't even have to be a football fan. It's just the idea. The whole idea of the holiday. Be thankful for the shit because I can't speak for everyone. I've got a lot of shit to be thankful for. It's good to sit down and thank those people, whether it's physically or mentally. Acknowledge all the great stuff you have, and then sit back, watch some sports, like you said. Enjoy some awesome food. Turkey is great. Ham sucks. I'm sorry if you're eating ham. Bummer. Save it for Christmas. That's where it belongs. Damn. You're not too far away.
That's an awful take.
This is the turkey holiday. And I know it's become cool to hate on turkey over these last couple of years. This happens with everything. We hate on the things that are too good, and we only appreciate them when they're gone. And I mean, turkey, I don't think will ever be gone, so I don't think we have to worry about that quite yet. But underrated holiday food right here. It's cool. I'm just letting you know it's not cool to hate on turkey because I see it on Twitter now. I don't know when this has become cool to, I eat fried chicken. I eat like pork chops on Thanksgiving. You're not special. That's just weird behavior. Eat a fucking turkey. Save the ham for fucking Christmas or Easter or whatever you do. Enjoy some turkey. Enjoy some pumpkin pie, the best pie, and let's have a good freaking Thanksgiving, baby.
Yeah, it was probably one of the worst takes I've heard in a long time. I only do ham with mine. So I only eat ham with mine, but I also just do it because there's nothing better than having that with mashed potatoes and gravy and just putting it together, bro. There is nothing better than that.
Everyone does that with turkey. That's
I don't do turkey though. I just don't eat it. I eat probably 7. I only have had turkey in the last 7 Thanksgiving. But also, my dad does make a fire turkey or a fire ham though, and it has that brown sugar in it a little bit. Dude, it's game changing, man. Once you have it, it kind of changes it's like, why would I not want to eat more of this? I don't want to share it with anything else. We're
not too far away from Christmas. That's when ham shines. That's all I'm trying to say is that this
ham can't. Hey, we're just like the Cowboys, right? If it's that good,
it's not good,
why would I push it and not want to do it more times, right? Why would I not? If it's that good, why would I not want to have it more? I have it both. I have it on both, but that's I'm thinking of
See, to me that screams greedy. That screams greedy. And see, straight sniper, Eagles fan coming in here. No shocker. Wrong opinion. Ham clears turkey. What other Eagle is Philly J in the chat right now? Is Birdman in there? What other Eagles fans would like to chime in? Because I believe they all like him as well. But that tells you all you really need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah, dude. I know me and Straight Sniper been having it back and forth here a little bit on my talk on the Eagles there, but hey, he knows what he's talking about on the food side. I'll take that for sure.
I'm just spawning the Philly fans right now. Yeah, no, but hey, I'm definitely correct on this one. No need to argue right here. Just default to my opinion. 100% right. I don't know. We need to get that going a little bit more often. But yeah, and I'm glad no one took issue with the pumpkin pie as well. I feel like I've argued about that on the show.
I don't eat pumpkin pie. I don't eat it. But I also pie?
Do you eat pecan pie?
Once in a while. Once in a while. I'm just such a heavy apple pie dude. I've just always
That's
been
fair.
apple pie heavy. And like I said, if I like it, why would I want to go away from it? You know, it's just like I've been locked in on that. Throw a little way too much whipped cream on the top, let it melt on that shit, bro. Ooh, I'm already ready, baby. I'm ready to just throw this shit back. So I'm hungry. I'm ready to go eat
I
now.
can't hate on that. I was just trying to weed out if there are any crazy opinions. Some people are like, "Oh, you've never had Thanksgiving unless you've had a key lime pie or some whatever bullshit they add in there." That's disgusting. I'm glad you're not one of those. Apple can never go wrong. Not gonna hate on that. And hey, I'm one of the like 8 people in the world. I eat pumpkin pies year long, baby. I get them day old bakery section at Safeway, $2.99. Probably had about 3 of them so far this year already. Love pumpkin pie. Elite should not be restrained to just Thanksgiving. It's pretty much healthy. I mean, it has pumpkin in it, according to
That's
my
apple pie too, bro. That's
yeah,
apple
I
pie
see
too.
straight sniper, sweet potato pie. They're kind of the same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm not a
it's
huge
hard to tell the difference to me. I mean, they're both fire, so I'm not gonna split hairs there. You know what I'm saying? We're on the same side. I don't know how to include both of us in that same one, but I love sweet potato pie as well. So just need to get that out there. Was making sure there was no insane Thanksgiving takes just lingering right here from you.
No. I my thing is just I just don't eat my turkey, dude. I just throw. Like I said, I go ham. I go ham heavy.
Do
Throw that.
wait, do other people eat turkey, or you like? Is
Yes,
there a
yes.
turkey
No, other
option?
people. Yes,
Okay,
it's there.
okay,
It's an
I like
option.
that.
But like I said, I'm like the Cowboys, bro. I mean, if it's that good, why? If I'm that good at that position, why not just keep chucking it? So why not keep just throwing those things back if I like it that much? You know,
Yeah, you got to stop comparing yourself to the Cowboys.
I'm
I don't even the
comparing it, baby.
Cowboys fans don't do that. Like that's not a good look. But I see what you mean. And having the turkey option, very classy. Got to give you credit for that as well. A lot of these elitist ham households just completely cross off the turkey option. So I'm glad you're staying open minded over here. Can't hate on that.
Tell me you guys don't eat cranberry sauce. I don't think I've ever had cranberry
Yeah,
sauce.
neither of us are over the age of 80 on here, so I think we're good to go. We both have our teeth in still, so as long as that's going, we're staying away from the cranberry sauce. How does that go with any of the things on the plate? Like at all? You know what you were just talking about? You get your gravy, your stuffing. We're just cranberry go in that bite. I don't know. That hard pass.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever really wanted to eat it either. Like I don't have any like wanting to do it. So yeah, it's not even an option to me here. So Stu, what do you got for the people before we head out here? Obviously a little rambling at the end as always, but what do you got for them before we head out?
Yeah, no, I mean, just make sure you're following on Twitter. You know, we're going to do our best to get all this content out here. Not only Thanksgiving, but Christmas coming up soon. But hey, it's the holiday season. Sometimes we got to go live at 9:30 in the morning instead of 1. Stuff happens. So if you're following on Twitter, you know, you'll be hip with all the notifications. Join the Discord, join his Telegram, all that stuff. You'll know when we go live. And hey, leave a like on the video if you haven't already. It takes about 5 seconds. Very easy to do. We're going to keep coming on here, you know, rain, shine, holiday season, you know, nothing, doesn't matter. We're here dropping player props, dropping picks no matter what. So appreciate you guys tuning in here with us. Obviously, like I said, follow me over on Twitter if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video if you haven't already. And hey, hopefully we cash some tickets.
Yeah, obviously always better to have 3 games instead of 1 on our Thursday night game to talk about. Make sure you guys, like I said, on Twitter, maybe we'll pop on Friday. I'm not sure what is going on here with that or how we'll figure that out, but make sure you guys are paying attention. We'll get ready for that. So thank you guys. Have an awesome Thanksgiving. Eat some ham, throw some of that back. You can throw a little turkey back if you want, but throw some ham back, some mashed potatoes would be good. So enjoy the football games, and we will see you guys possibly on Friday there. So have a good one, guys.